What is smallpox? Smallpox was a serious disease that affected people worldwide until the late 20th century. Experts don't know where it started, but they believe it existed for around 3,000 years based on smallpox-like rashes found on ancient Egyptian mummies. Smallpox was caused by the variola virus, which belongs to the orthopox virus family. This family also includes other viruses like cowpox and monkeypox. Historians think the first written description of smallpox comes from 4th century China. The variola virus spread to different places through human activities. Trade routes helped the virus reach Korea and Japan by the 6th century, while the growth of empires spread it through the Middle East, North Africa, Spain, and Portugal. The Crusades brought smallpox to northern Europe in the 11th century. Later, colonialism and the slave trade carried smallpox from Portugal to Western Africa and then across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, North America, and South America. This significantly affected the populations of indigenous peoples in these areas. Smallpox was considered an epidemic because it spread quickly across large areas. It was one of the most harmful diseases known to humans. Who did smallpox affect? Smallpox affected people all over the world, regardless of where they lived or what their background was. However, it was especially harmful to certain groups. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, they brought diseases like smallpox, which the indigenous people had never been exposed to and had no immunity against. This caused serious harm to the indigenous populations, who feared smallpox the most. Smallpox killed 20 to 50% of Europeans, but it wiped out entire communities of Native American people. Sometimes, this spread was unintentional, but there were instances where colonists used smallpox as a weapon. For example, British officers in 1763 to 1764 intentionally spread smallpox by giving Native American people blankets and handkerchiefs carrying the variola virus. Even after the smallpox vaccine was developed, the disease continued to impact some areas more severely than others. While smallpox cases decreased in North America and Europe in the early 1950s, the disease was still common in South America, Asia, and Africa. There were several reasons for this, such as a lack of funding, commitment from governments, and vaccine donations to less wealthy countries. The World Health Organization, who started a global program to eliminate smallpox in 1959, but it took almost 20 years to succeed because of these challenges. Improved ways of storing and delivering the vaccine also made a difference. By the late 20th century, more than 300 million people had died from smallpox worldwide. Symptoms of smallpox. Smallpox had different symptoms that appeared in stages as the illness progressed. The early symptoms included sore throat, headaches, high fever, feeling very tired or weak, back pain, vomiting, bad stomach pain, chills, loss of appetite. These early symptoms usually lasted about 4 days. After that, the next phase would start. This phase involved a rash that began in the throat and then spread to the face and other parts of the body. The rash consisted of bumps that would grow into deep, round sores filled with pus. These sores would eventually dry up and turn into scabs, which would fall off after about 14 days. The sores often left scars on people who survived. Smallpox could also cause other problems such as inflammation of the brain, encephalitis, bone infections, osteomyelitis, miscarriage or stillbirth, infertility in men, blindness. Does smallpox still exist? Smallpox is the only contagious disease that humans have completely gotten rid of. There are a few secure labs that still hold samples of the variola virus, but those are the only known samples left. The virus is no longer found in people. People managed to eliminate smallpox thanks to the creation of the world's first successful vaccine. In the late 1700s, a British doctor named Edward Jenner noticed that milkmaids who had had cowpox didn't catch smallpox. He realized that getting cowpox, which is a milder illness caused by a similar virus, could protect people from smallpox. Jenner made the first vaccine in 1796, but it took time for people to start using it because many were scared of the vaccine and didn't trust it was safe. However, scientists improved the vaccine over time, and people became more comfortable with using it. In 1900, scientists began using a virus called vaccinia for the vaccine instead of cowpox. In 1959, the World Health Organization who started a plan to eliminate smallpox by vaccinating people worldwide. The last natural case of smallpox happened in 1977, and the WHO announced the disease was gone in 1980. Treatment for smallpox. Before vaccines were created, there was no way to treat smallpox directly. Doctors could only provide care to help people deal with the symptoms. Smallpox vaccines helped prevent people from catching smallpox, but they didn't cure people who were already sick. It was only through widespread vaccination that smallpox started to disappear worldwide. Since smallpox was eradicated, Vaccination against the disease is no longer needed because the virus isn't spreading anymore. However, some people, such as those working in certain labs or military personnel, may still get the vaccine as a precaution. Even though there is a vaccine, researchers continue to work on treatments for smallpox. In 2018, the U.S. approved tecovirimat as the first antiviral drug for smallpox. They are still studying its safety in clinical trials,